finished up with Project 4-banger. So as you can see in the video, we ground down the frame with a grinder and some other attachments from a drill. So we ground that all down. I then hit it with some mineral spirits to clean it all off, and then after we did that, I hit it with some Rust-Oleum rust reformer, so it's supposed to turn rust back into metal. So we use that on any, obviously I just sprayed the whole thing with that. And then after that, I used a self-etching primer to go over that, and then over that I did some Rust-Oleum truck bed liner. You could probably skip the primer part, but that's the way I finished my flares on my Jeep, and it turned out pretty good. So I figured I had some, so I figured I would use it anyway. So then I hit some, like I said, Rust-Oleum truck bed liner, and then after all of that, I used some fluid film. That's what all this gunk and stuff is. So we'll see how this works. I've heard good things about it. I think I went a little overkill with it, but in Wisconsin I don't think there's such a thing as overkill as far as protecting against rust. So that's all of that stuff. I sprayed it inside the frame. I was really happy about right in this area. Usually it rots really bad there, and this wasn't bad at all, which I was really happy about. I broke a bolt, the rear bolt on the back side, on the other side there. The way they have this is it's a bolt goes through here, and there's a nut welded inside the frame, and water sits in the frame, and that nut just seized up and broke off, so it was spinning with the nut, so I had to use a Sawzall to cut that off. I don't have footage of that. It was really dark out, and so we kind of ran out of light for that. But that's kind of the process on what I use to spray it all. Pretty simple, just spray the whole frame. There are a couple areas that still need to be worked on. There's a little bit of there's a pretty bad rust hole kind of more towards the rear there that I kind of fixed a little bit, but this thing will probably have to get some frame repair in the future by a professional probably, unless I figure out how to weld. But yeah, other than that, I'm really happy with how it was. The worst part is probably the body, where the body and the frame kind of meet these guys right here. The body, a lot of it's rotted out on this side over here. As you can see over there, it's pretty bad. We got a big gaping hole there, so that will definitely need to be repaired eventually. So that's something I can't really do, so we'll have to have that professionally repaired someday. But for now, I figured I would just seal it all up, and hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. So after I did all of that, I figured, we're already doing stuff, so as you guys saw that there was a little bit of rust kind of bubbling in this area here, so I took the grinder and just ground that down. I think it's rusting from the inside out, so that's probably just a very temporary fix. But so that'll be another problem area, but I got it pretty good, I think. I painted some Rust-Oleum rust back to metal in the rust spots here. Eventually I'd like to take these out and actually refinish them, but for now I took a paintbrush and then sprayed the can of Rust-Oleum rust reformer onto a piece of cardboard and then just painted in these areas. I refinished the mirrors again. These were originally bed lined, so I re-bed lined them because they were starting to peel. This is another problem area on this Jeep. So I basically, all the paint was bubbling, so I sanded the paint off, and I did that same technique with using a paintbrush and the Rust-Oleum rust reformer and painted it on there. Eventually I'll get some touch-up paint to make this all match so it doesn't look so rough, but just for winter, just wanted to seal this up, that way it's not gonna hopefully not rust too much more. So did that on this side as well, did that here as well. So I'll show you guys that bolt I was talking about. So right here, I sprayed a ton of this stuff in there just because I didn't want water sitting here. But this bolt broke here. So eventually I'll probably get a new bolt, but I think the majority of the weight of the transfer case and transmission are on these two bolts here. So I think we'll be fine without a bolt here for now. So yeah, another bad area that I haven't fixed in this video, but will be need to address later, is this big rust hole here. Probably if I was good at welding, or if I could weld, I'd weld a piece of metal in here and, you know, make it really nice. But what I think I'll do in the meantime is get some mesh, some type of mesh material, and then just Bondo that and paint this. The flare covers most of this anyway, so not too big of a deal. But so that'll be for another video for sure. But yeah, I sprayed fluid film all over everything here, and yeah. So anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video on fixing the rust on Project 4-banger. It's definitely a lot better than I thought it was, and I feel so much better knowing that going into winter time we got this all kind of sealed up and it's not gonna rust any further. But like I said, we do have some areas that we'll have to fix eventually. But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Definitely consider subscribing. That helps me out a bunch, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video.